Good afternoon, all.
Hi,
Welcome,
Dave.
Karen.
Hi, Karen.
Hi.
Hey, Karen, now we see
Hi.
you.
Yeah, exactly. My sister called right as I'm about to start the meeting. So I cajoled my dad into coming. So I'm very excited.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
That's very cool.
You'll see. He's Jim Kefauver.
Okay.
Okay, good.
So we are Senior Life Online, which is our online version of Scotts Valley Senior Life Association. We're a 501c3 nonprofit community benefit organization for the benefit of local senior citizens. We have been started as Scotts Valley particularly, but now we cover the whole area. We have people up San Lorenzo Valley, we have people in Santa Cruz, we have people in Live Oak, we have people all over the place. So any seniors are welcome. Today's guest is Karen Kefauver. She's a social media coach, and I'll tell a little bit more about Karen later on, just a little bit later on. She does all kinds of things in regards to social media. And we have a website, scottsvalleyseniorlife.org. We have a newsletter. If we have your email address, then we'll send you our newsletter if you like it. If not, then just let us know and we'll take you off the list. If you have any future projects to suggest, let us know. We're always looking for ways to help out the community and focusing on the senior community. And we do have a Facebook page. And so especially today is a great day to promote that because we like to have followers. It's a great way to stay in touch. And donations, tax deductible donations are always welcome. We'll put them to good use. And just so everybody knows, we're almost 100%. Well, we're an all volunteer organization, and nearly 100% of donations received are used to directly help seniors living in the area. And if you buy things on Amazon, which I think almost everybody does, well, at least most people, I think, then you can designate Scotts Valley Senior Life Association as your favorite charity. And when you do that, it won't cost you any extra, but Amazon will send donation. I think it's 5% of whatever you spend will go to Scotts Valley Senior Life Association. Actually, Karen might be able to tell us about that. And a few things that we've done, we've bought automatic electronic defibrillators for Montevalli and Spring Lakes, an exercise machine for Montevalli, patio umbrellas for Scotts Valley Senior Center. And when COVID's not around, we sponsor 2 to 3 free workshops every year. And everything from health and medicine to just whatever local, local things that affect senior citizens. And there's a picture of us with our donation box, which one of our members kindly created for us. And one of the local things that we've been sponsoring is the Scotts Valley Performing Arts Center. And I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's in the same building as the Scotts Valley Library. And I know Dave has been very involved with that. And it's through the Scotts Valley Community Theater Guild. It is going to have 400 events per year, musicals, plays, recitals, classes, workshops, any number of things. So if that's something that you'd like to support in the community, then you can make a donation to Scotts Valley Senior Life, and then it would go towards that Scotts Valley Performing Arts Center. And let's see, I think there's kind of a picture of it. It's actually very different from that. We're hoping to do a tour of it in the not too distant future. And as we mentioned, this presentation is recorded for later viewing. We have a YouTube channel, and we also put links in our newsletter, and we record, like we've been recording this program. We've recorded probably 20 or 30 different programs that you'd find about different featured speakers we've had, and different programs about the local area. And let's see what's up. Oh, and now I would like to introduce Karen Kefauver. She's a social media coach. She's a writer, photographer, and multimedia journalist. And I know she's an avid bicyclist also. And today she's going to be presenting the top 5 Facebook tips for beginners. And with that, I will turn it over to Karen.
Great. All right, that was a very nice introduction, and I'm glad to be here. Can everyone hear me okay? Yeah? Okay, great. So one of the fun things about teaching is you have a variety of people in class. So for today's class, we're going to have a range of people who are already familiar with Facebook to people who really don't know Facebook at all. So because we're beginners, I'm going to start with the biggest possible overview, and then we can narrow it down. My goal for today is that when we wrap up in roughly a half an hour or so, you'll have a better understanding of Facebook. I do want to say, given the scope of our class today, that I won't be able to address specific, how do you do this? Because in Facebook, typically that could be a complex answer. So I could give you an overview of where to find that, but we won't have time to get into, every single detail. I will let you know when we can do some questions. I always think it's nice to hear your voice. So I'll pause and say, ready for some questions, at which point you can unmute yourself and go. So what's going to happen is I'm going to share my screen and show you just a few slides, but the bulk of our time I'll be on the internet live because I want to show you Facebook. I want to show you what you see and how to manage it. All right, so let's get started. Share screen. Don't you all love Zoom? So much fun.
Works great.
Okay. All right, folks. You're in the right place. So glad you're here. The 5 subjects I want to touch on, again, this is to give you the big scope. What are the different types of Facebook accounts? What is the news feed versus the home page? What are public versus private posts? A few recommendations for best practices. And then the last part is just a real encouragement to enjoy it and have fun with it. And I'll give some recommendations on that. Let's see, Dave or George, are you able to turn off the ding dong every time somebody wants to come in to the room? If you can, it's pretty distracting. Okay. So I already had a nice introduction, but I've been doing this for 10 years. I have been teaching social media for 10 years. Right when Twitter came out, I thought, I think this is going to stick around. So before that, I was writing stories for newspapers and magazines, primarily sports stories. The collection of magazines you see here all have my stories. And I like to compare social media to a magazine. So let's just say you have a Facebook page or Facebook profile. It's a publication. Whatever you write on there is information. So I just like to make that connection of a publication on Facebook and a publication on print. So my background is print. Okay, So in the world of social media, in the big picture, as you can see here, Facebook is the massive, massive gorilla of all of social media. And you already know that because Facebook gets so much press and it's been so problematic in a lot of ways. And then YouTube, which is all videos, I bet you already know YouTube, is the second one. And then Instagram is also owned by Facebook. But I simply show you this slide just to get an idea of how dominant Facebook is. Let's see. And then the fastest growing demographic is 65 and older. It does say, you know, still the age group of the most users is 75%, but in terms of speed, 65 and older are adopting and using Facebook faster than any other age group. So I think that's cool. So you're a social media star, and I am going to now switch and show you actually my screen. So hang on a second here. All right, I'm going to close that out. And now share screen again. Oh gosh, where is it? Google Chrome, share. Okay, so now you can see my screen. And what's happening is I am going to my Facebook page. So what you're seeing is not what if you went and visited me, you wouldn't see it like this. This is my view of my own page. I want to tell you that if you're a beginner in Facebook, it's going to be much easier to learn and use Facebook on your laptop computer or your desktop computer, whatever you want to call it. A lot of people use the Facebook app on the phone. So you would go to the Apple Store if you have an iPhone, or the Google Play Store if you have an Android, and you would download the Facebook app, which is free. Let me pause here. If you ever get any kind of email or message asking for money from Facebook, they don't do that. So Facebook is 100% free, unless you're a business, then it's a different story. So again, my point is I recommend for beginners to use the computer, or if you're very comfortable using apps, you can do that. However, unfortunately, they're not identical. So what you see on the computer screen is not quite the same on the phone. That's why I recommend using the computer first. It's just easier. Okay, so that said, all of social media, all of it, there's two types of views. There is what you call your own page, your profile page. And then there's something called the news feed or home. So that, I know that's a little confusing. Home and news feed mean the same thing. So what that means is right now, for example, I am on my profile page. I know that because there's my little face, there's a photo I took, and as I scroll down, I can see that I can post here. And then I see basically all of these things that I've posted. These are all my posts. Me. And so that's how I know this is my profile, because there I am and they're all my posts. I will say this, other people can post on your page unless you do a setting that prevents people from posting on your page. I personally like to have other people post on my page, and I have not found anyone putting spam on there. So this is my profile page. So now you can see on this page that I have friends. I happen to have 2,600 friends. that's means I'm connected to a lot of people. So there's the profile page, and then the home page or news feeds is what all of those people are saying. So yes, out of my 2,000 people I'm connected with, when I go here, see that little house? When I go here, what I see is there's, Bez. So as I'm scrolling down here, that's an advertisement. You can tell an ad when it has a little check and it says sponsored. So I'm scrolling through, this is called my news feed. And out of the 2,000 people, these people have posted, and you think, oh my goodness, that's so random. But you can actually control a little bit who comes up first in the news feed, and I'll talk more about that. But I just wanted to show you the difference between the profile page where I post and this concept of the home page. So the home page is completely based on how many people you're friends with. So I toggle back and forth. You really only need to know this home and then this Karen. And that's how you post. One of the most important things I want to tell you is when you're on your personal profile and you want to post, when I go right here, what's on your mind? And this is where I write something. I'm having fun in class today. Okay, so every time you're posting, right up here, it says friends, but I can click and I want to make sure it says my friends. So what you're looking at right now are all options of who can see that post. So this says the public. I do not want most of my posts to be public. Because I'm a businesswoman, I do want some to be public, but 99%, I want just my friends to see it. So it's funny, you can also make little lists of things, and there's just a variety. The most important thing for you to know is that when you post, just to check what's up there. So you could, basically it's usually either friends or public, but that's where if you're posting family members, you probably want to be careful that it says friends and not the world. I'm having fun in class today. So if I post this, I just hit post. Why not, right? Post. So I've posted this, and then let's just say I quickly change my mind and say, forget it. I can move it to the trash. And when I move it to the trash, it means it disappears from my page. But it is possible that someone, out of my 2,000 friends might have seen that quickly. So just to let you know, so you can move it to the trash. I'm not going to do that. So already my friend Tyler gave me a little heart in that 1 second, which means he's glad that I'm having fun in class today. So I've written this out. If I want to get fancier, I hit edit post. Actually, I'll just show you a fresh one. So we just said, what's on your mind? I'm so glad my dad is on this call. Hi, Dad. And then I won't do this, but if I wanted to catch the attention of my dad, I mention him, which he wouldn't want, but so then I go Jim Kefauver. So that would be tagging my dad. And the way you tag someone is you just put that little symbol, and then you start typing somebody's name. So what that means is that when you post this, they'll get a notification that they were mentioned. So I wouldn't do this unless you really know the person and they're into Facebook. I mostly just wanted to show you that little trick. Photos. How do you add a photo to your post from your computer? So that can be a little confusing for people. So I'll just show you. When I hit the word photo, I'm taken to my own computer, and then I like to put my pictures here. I'm on a Mac. I'm on a MacBook Pro, by the way. So there's a picture of me, and the way the picture got here in the first place is that it was somebody emailed it to me. So open. I'm not going to post this, but there I am. One thing I want to say is if you have photos on your phone and it's confusing for you how to get them onto your computer, and that's a tip that confuses people a lot. What I would do would be go to Best Buy or your Apple store or whatever, and just ask them what cable to use so that you can just plug your phone into the computer. So that is the easiest method if it feels intimidating to try to figure out the photos. All right, let's pause there for a minute, and you can unmute yourself if you have a question, and I can see how you're doing.
I have a question about photographs.
Yes.
I'm a photographer,
Uh-huh.
and I stopped posting on Facebook just because I had heard that people can, or that Facebook can use those photographs in advertising.
So Facebook is not allowed to do that. I haven't seen any fine print, I mean, that says that a private picture can be used for advertising purposes. I can research that more, but that would surprise me and horrify me. But then again, a lot of Facebook issues do that. But I mean, there are thousands of professional photographers on Facebook, so I don't think I would let that hold me back. I think the likelihood would be slim. So I also have published a lot of photos with my stories, and I don't hesitate to post them on Facebook.
Okay, good.
I had a question about how do I change, like for instance, I need to change my description of what I do. And I don't seem to be able to change that. And right now my Facebook says I'm a watercolor instructor and fine art, graphic designer and so forth. But I want to change that to fine art because now I'm in the studio, open studio, and I want to have that now as my new Facebook presence.
So it is funny. I know what you're talking about, and that is actually kind of annoying. So the best bet is to hit the edit profile. I don't know if you've done that yet. And then of course you could change your bio if you want.
Where is that?
So up at the top, it says edit profile.
Okay.
But then another fact is there's also edit details. The reason I've had a job doing this for so long is because it's not straightforward. So what you were talking about, this is what we're talking about, right? Under the work section.
Right. And right, just the work section, not the education.
Yeah. So here, it's possible, because again, this has been pesky, that you'll need to erase and retype in order from, you would want to put the oldest first, and then reverse chronological order. But because when you add a workplace, sometimes that goes at the bottom.
Mm.
And
So
then,
I would select the, so I select the profile, edit profile.
uh-huh.
Then I go into the work.
So it's not the edit profile. It's actually under edit details.
Oh, okay.
And
Edit-
Marsha, I'm gonna stop that right now because I can't resist doing the how-to, but
Okay. I'm
that should help. No, it's okay. Rebecca,
I have a how-to question. Hopefully it's
we'll see if I'll be able to answer it.
not complicated. How do I find a group? So if I want to follow, let's say, a band, how do I find them?
Okay, that's an excellent question. And that reminds me that I need to say a couple other things. Okay, so there's a search bar on Facebook. And let's just say Santa Cruz dance. So if I go down here to search for Santa Cruz dance, here's something that says groups. So the searching can be really specific. So you type in, this is a broad topic and you can find groups related. But if you're looking for a certain band, what's the name of the band? Oops, I can't hear you.
She's muted.
Oh, well. Okay, so you could always type in the name of the band and just, if you already know it, you can search for it right here. So this search bar is very handy. Any other questions, or I'll continue?
Yes, Barbara here. Sometimes I have a hard time capturing pictures. Some they're fussy. They say this doesn't work. Sorry.
Oh, I see. Yes, that is annoying. So are you talking about like this big picture right here?
No, I'd like to add things to the Facebook post. Sometimes people have sent me an email or something, or they have it posted on Facebook somewhere else, or it's something I took and apparently there's some size or type, like GIF, PDF.
So you can only post a JPEG or a TIFF. You can never post a PDF as a photo. So that, I don't know if that's happening or not, but without being able to look at your photo sizing, I'm not sure. I couldn't answer that more specifically without knowing why the sizing's not working.
Okay,
Does it
well,
size
so
automatically?
I'm sorry, what?
Would it size a photograph automatically so that you don't have to resize it to post?
Let's see, I guess I've practically never had a problem with the sizing of photos because so I'm not sure if it resizes it. Typically, it does have to be a certain resolution. It can't be too small, but gosh, how can we already be at 4:30? That's crazy. So the main things I wanted to really point out is this difference between, where you're posting, making sure that on every post that you take a look at the privacy setting and differentiating that this is where you see when people say that they're wasting time on Facebook, the way they're wasting time is they're endlessly scrolling through what everyone else has to say, because this can become addictive to look through all of this. The other thing that I want to point out to you that's really important, I'm going back to my profile, is I was talking about my dad with this, but here we are on my page, my profile, and there's this little tiny triangle, which is, again, this is why I have a job, because who knows what's in there. So when you pull that down, settings and privacy, I want you to get very familiar with your Facebook settings and privacy. So I'll show you again. I'm on my own page with my face and where I write, and then I go to the little triangle. It won't be there. You have to click on it. And then you'll go to settings and privacy. And then this is a great tool. They added this, Facebook added this because people were so frustrated and angry about the privacy. So this is the best bet for you so that you don't have to, it'll make it easier. So let's hit privacy checkup. And then what you'll do is you'll just follow one of these at a time. And each one of these has really good, a menu below that. So who can see what you share? And you have to continue. But my point is, this is the resource where you can, like, a lot of people don't want to have the year. I'm from 1969. But so if you want to say you don't want people to see that, you have only me, or maybe I don't want people to see my birthday at all. Then I have to put only me down there.
Okay.
So my recommendation, and I'm just going, the way I'm doing this is I'm going back, I'm using the back arrow. So this will be a little spot to play with, settings and privacy, because that's one of the most important things. Let's see. So we've gone over the news feed versus the home page, public versus private posts, privacy. And I guess the other thing I want to point out is I was really recommending, if you're a beginner, to use your computer. But if you have, a phone and you see the little F on there for Facebook, so that is what the Facebook app looks like after you've downloaded it. It is free. And the reason I want to mention this is, if you're already using your phone to take pictures, it's much easier to post the photo right from your phone. So what that means is, I'll just show you this quickly. So I don't know how familiar you are with iPhones, but that colorful wheel right there, this is the bottom of my phone, that's where all my photos are. So let's just say,
Right.
I open a photo and here I am, yay. Okay, so this is a picture of me that's in my own photo library. So I've already taken this. And then I only have to hit one button, and it's called the share button. The share button is the one, it's got a triangle, it's got an arrow pointing up. So you'll always know that the arrow, it's this one, that means share. So when I press the share, I get a choice. See Facebook right there. So you have to have the app on your phone. It's free to download. So if you're taking pictures on your phone, it's just easier to get the photos. I was talking about getting a cable. It's just a little easier to go right from the phone to Facebook.
Okay.
So the last thing I'd said was to have fun. So one of the other ways to have fun is, you don't have to write a darn thing. You can just leave this here stagnant, and you don't have to use the news feed. I mean, I think plenty of people you go into the search, and then you say, I'll put my mom. My mom has Facebook. So all I want to see is what my mom has to say. So there's my mom. And not surprisingly, I'm the last person who posted on her page. So she doesn't really post, but I was able to post on her page. So the point is, other people will post more on their pages, but my mom's here and she can just go around and look at her, son-in-law or whatever. So here's my friend Jeff. So I can go to Jeff's page and see what he's up to. So basically, you can be very specific and just use the search bar and put in the name of the person whose life you want to see, maybe a family or a friend. And you don't even have to do anything. I mean, I can just say, oh, look, he's done this. And, it's, there's nothing wrong. It's not spying. It's just, seeing what someone's up to. And, it's nice if you comment, it's kind of fun because when you comment, let's see, I wished him happy birthday. Anyways, and you can always just like something. See that word like? I can just give a thumbs up if I don't want to bother to write something. I'm going to pause there because I think one of the funnest things to do is just go to other people's pages and look around. I'll wrap up now with any last questions.
I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah, oh, good. I'm hearing an echo. I got a phone call in the middle of this and it kind of screwed everything up. But anyway, my question is, how do you post? You mentioned you could post on someone else's page specifically. And did you go over that? Did I miss it?
So I will say this. You can't always post on someone else's page because that person might have chosen one of those privacy settings where they forbid that. So you could do that too. You could have a setting where no one can post on your page. So what that means is sometimes you could post on a person's page and sometimes you can't.
How do you post if you're allowed to?
So you would just go, here's my mom's page, write something to Leslie. So then I just write my message and I know that it's going to appear on her page.
I see. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question about your mom's,
Uh-huh.
what is that? That's interesting. What is that? Is that a collage? Are those, what is that?
My mom goes to a million museums. So this is, it looks like it's some kind of exhibit at the Smithsonian. She goes there a lot. But yeah, so she was able to put that cool picture there. And as you can see, the whole picture doesn't show, but it looks great.
It's just interesting, yeah.
And then if you want to put a photo up there, you just do edit cover photo and you can usually upload a photo. So
Okay.
any other questions before we wrap up?
I just had one quick question, and I think you've answered it in one other video, was the difference between having a Facebook business page and a personal page. And is it correct that it's best, since I'm a fine artist and want to promote my work, that I wouldn't necessarily have it would be best to have the personal page versus the business page, or what?
So you raise a good point. I promised I was going to tell you the different types of accounts. So of course we have the personal page. The best way to know it's a personal page is it says the word friends.
Oh, where's that?
This is my personal page.
Mhm.
And then I have a business page. And the way you can tell it's a business page is, well, let's see, it'll say like, but this is not, this is my own. Hold on, I'll just do this. Sorry. So she has a page and you like it. So that's where you either like a page or your friends. I don't have time to go into specific recommendations, but one of the things I just wanted to tell you guys, I have so much information. If you're ready to get really advanced, I'm teaching an advanced Facebook class this Thursday. You can email me if you have more questions about that. Let me see one thing. Share. Yeah, so I am teaching the advanced class. I also offer a 15-minute free phone consultation.
Okay.
It's not a how-to call. It's to see if we want to work together. You can tell me, what your needs are about open studios and yeah. So I invite you, perhaps when you send out this video, you can include my email so everyone has my email.
Yeah, I
Okay,
was gonna say, when we post in our newsletter, we can put contact information. And when I do the video on YouTube, I will also include contact information there. And I
Great.
did want to say, Karen, there was one question from Kathy Stevens about how to choose which Facebook friends posts come up most often. And I know we're running low on time, but that's a question I
What
had
was
too.
the question?
That how to choose which Facebook friends posts come up most often.
Oh, okay. So that has to do with customizing the news feed. So the best way to do that is you go to the person. Let's say I go to my dad. Hi, Dad. And I go to him, and then on his page, I can see there are choices of how often I can see him. Okay, I'll show you one real quick. Desktop share. Okay, so I'm going back here, and all I'm doing is I'm going to, I'll go back to my mom. Leslie. Okay, so here I can see that I'm friends with my mom, which is great. And then you have to go to see friendship, and then you can make choices about who is going to come up sooner in the news feed. I think what I'll do is I'll email, because that is important, because people are often don't want to see things. I could block someone if I have an annoying relative, by the way. So I think I'll send that along to George, and then you can have it in the newsletter.
okay.
Well, everybody, I really appreciate your coming. I haven't taught a Facebook beginners class for a while, and it was really fun. So thank you.
Thank you very
Karen.
much,
Thank you.
Karen.
Okay, take
That
care.
was fun.
Okay, thanks.
Terry,
Bye.
we were delighted to have you here today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Absolutely. I will be in touch. I'll send my email, phone number, and an answer to that question.
Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
very good.
All right.
And do we
Thank
get
you,
off
Karen.
and will you email us, email that to us, or are you?
So I'm going to leave George and Dave in charge of sending the email out
Yep.
to the group.
Okay.
We will do it.
Yay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye,
Thank you,
Karen.
George.
Thank you,
Karen.
Karen.
Bye.
George and
George, you have some more things to say?
Yeah, for one thing, I did want to say that we do have your email address. I think, Dave, you have the email addresses for people that signed up.
That is correct.
Okay,
Okay.
so we will include those, all those things that Karen mentioned in our email
Okay.
and our newsletter. And we also have a YouTube channel. That's where we'll be posting the video of this meeting. And so if you missed anything, you can come back and view the whole thing all over again.
How do
Yay.
I find that?
I'm
We'll
going to
include
sign
a
off
link.
again. Bye, guys.
Bye,
Bye,
Karen.
Karen.
Thank you.
I did a lot of
Bye.
screen share shots, so that helped.
Good. Yeah, that's very useful. Yeah, we'll have a link in the newsletter. I'll post a link on Facebook.
And can you
Yeah.
include it in the email follow-up?
Yes,
Oh,
the newsletter.
hold on there.
Or the email follow-up to this
I'm turning
event?
the volume down so I can hear you. The
The
guys don't talk.
email follow-up will be in the form of our newsletter.
And
Oh, I
mean,
see. And so it'll be included in there, the link to the YouTube channel?
Yes, that's
Okay,
right.
great.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you.
And also, if you go to our website, scottsvalleyseniorlife.com, there are links to all of the past programs we've done. And that's where you can go also to find registration for upcoming programs.
Oh, okay.
Great.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. And
George, George, I
Yeah.
have a question for you. I
okay.
know you're the Zoom expert and advisor.
Kind of.
When someone wants to not be on the Zoom with their face. And I've seen a lot of people put up a stationary picture of themselves or of something. But I'm on an iPad and I've looked all over for ways to do that, to put up a different picture when I want to go off screen. Do you know how to do that on an iPad?
On an iPad,
I've looked at all my settings and just, I don't think I have that option.
have you looked at your profile setting? Have you found a profile setting?
On the Zoom?
Yeah, if you go into Zoom and open up your Zoom account, then you can set your profile settings. There's probably an option there. That's where I go to choose my background. You can, if you want to put different backgrounds, you can do that.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. I'll take a look at that. I'll
Yeah.
explore that. Thank you,
And
George.
yeah, that's a good question because I'm kind of curious now too. So I'll double check on that, Carolyn.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Yeah. So, and as we've mentioned, our next big event is the Scotts Valley Mayor Derek Timms State of the City Address, where we'll be featuring Derek and a panel of city officials. And nearly every city official has participated in the past. So it's a great way to learn about what's going on in Scotts Valley. Seems like there's always something going on in Scotts Valley. So that will be October 2nd, and it will be live in person at the Scotts Valley Community Center. It'll be, they're going to set up chairs in the back behind outdoors, and there'll be social distancing and masking. There'll be certain requirements. So if you're interested in going on or in participating in that, we will be posting on Facebook, and we'll have something in our newsletter, and we'll make sure that everybody knows. And tentatively, it's scheduled for Saturday, October 2nd at 10 a.m., I think.
That is correct.
All right. So, and that is our program for today. So find us on YouTube, find us on Facebook, and become our friends.
Very good. Thank you, George. Thank everybody for joining us today. It's been a very good session.
Thank you, Dave and George.
Thank you.
I'm going to end the program right now. Got a big event coming up October 2nd.
Yes, we do.
That's the annual Mayor's State of the City. George, you want to talk about that, or?
Yeah, that's something that Scotts Valley Senior Life has been doing for the last at least 4 or 5 years, I think. But every year we have the mayor, we host the mayor and a panel of local experts or local officials. We've had usually the city manager, the fire chief, police chief, school district superintendent, and it's a fascinating program. And near the end, we have a question and answer session, and people can ask any question they want of the city, and they're always happy to answer and give us like actual real answers. And Jack Dill is actually on the city council. I don't think he'll be a panelist, but he's on our call today too.
Jack is our vice president.
Yeah. But yeah, we've hosted the mayor's State of the City address in person. And I think it's always been at Montevalli at the community room there. And so we debated whether or not to do it online this year, but we didn't think we'd get the attendance that we'd really like to have. And so Dave and Jack have managed to engineer it so that we'll be able to do it at the community center in Scotts Valley. It'll be an outdoor activity. And I wonder, would Jack, you or Dave like to fill us in a little bit on how the plans are coming for that?
Well, sure. I think Dave's been more involved than I have, so I would ask him to speak first, but if I can add any details about what I expect from the city, I can sure do that.
All right.
We decided to go outside because of COVID, of course. Seemed like we're not really ready yet to go inside for a large meeting. But behind the community center, there's a very large open area with some beautiful tree coverage. And so we're going to be setting up chairs outside. We'll try and have a public address system so people can hear okay. And we'll be a little bit separated. We'll have plenty of fresh air. So hopefully people will feel comfortable about attending.
And
This will be our first in-person meeting in a year and a half, something like that.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Senior Life organization, or what kind of an organization are you talking about?
The Senior Life Association.
Oh, I'm not familiar with it, so.
Well, that's this group here.
I'm part of that group, I see.
Okay.
Yeah.
You see on the screen there, probably it says Scotts Valley Senior Life Association. And
Right, I see what you're talking about.
and that's us.
Oh, okay.
And that's where George was saying we've been sponsoring this State of the City event for some time. And Jack, when he was mayor, was the leader of one of those events. What was that, 2 years ago, Jack?
Sounds right. 3 years ago, I think, but it was really fun. It's a good event, very popular.
Even though I don't live in Scotts Valley, I'm going to be in the Scotts Valley Open Studio type of thing, but I live in Live Oak. Does that make a difference?
No, come join us.